Who spent 34 years deporting illegal aliens? I got a message to the millions of illegal aliens that Joe Biden's releasing our country in violation of federal law. You better start packing now.
Former ICE acting director and President-elect Donald Trump's incoming border czar Tom Homan speaking at the Republican convention this summer. After record border crossings in the first 3 years of the Biden administration, Trump has promised mass deportations on day one, starting with those with criminal records, a process that could be long and costly. But fears of deportation have worried migrant workers across America, as well as farmers who rely on their labor. And we saw that up close this week in the Central Valley of California. California's Central Valley is without question one of the most vital agricultural regions in America. 400 miles of rich farmland from Redding to Bakersfield, producing $17 billion worth of crops, 25% of the nation's food supply.
My farm here in Central California grows melons like cantaloupes and watermelons. We also grow almonds, we grow tomatoes and cherries.
And to help grow and harvest those crops, many farmers here rely on undocumented workers. The Department of Agriculture estimates that about half of the hired crop workers do not have legal status. That is estimated to be more than 330,000 workers in the Central Valley alone. Joe Del Bosque started his farm here in 1985.
We do have concerns because our labor is barely where we need to do. We can't afford a labor shortage. Back during Obama, we had a labor shortage, and there were at times where we actually lost some crop. We left melons in the field unharvested, and we lost them.
I think people will look and say, but wait a minute, they're Americans who are unemployed. Why can't you just hire them?
They don't want to come out here and work in this extreme conditions, 100+ degree temperatures, dust, hard work.
What if you paid them more?
It doesn't matter. We pay some of the highest wages for farm workers in the nation right here in California, and they won't come out. In California, we grow about 50% of the fruits and vegetables and nuts for the country. And any shortage of food like that is going to impact everybody in the nation, because not only will food be less available, it'll be more expensive.
Manuel Cunha Jr. runs the Nice Farmers League, a trade organization representing farmers and farm workers in the Fresno area. He says Trump's promise to deport all undocumented migrants would disrupt the entire country.
If you took away my workforce, you wouldn't eat. If you go into the San Joaquin Valley and you start doing what you're saying, it's over. The country will stop. It will literally stop because the food system won't move.
And like Joe Del Bosque, he insists these undocumented farm workers are not taking jobs that would otherwise go to American citizens.
I don't care what you pay them. I don't care if you pay them $26 an hour. It ain't going to happen. They're not going to get up at 4 or 5 in the morning, drive to the field, and pick fruit.
Cunha wants the Trump administration to give those who have been in the country hard at work a break.
We need to figure out how we handle those folks versus the ones that are criminals, child molesters, whatever you may want to call this, been coming across the border. They've worked here for 30 years. Now you're going to throw them out of the country.
Xochitl Nunez came to the U.S. 26 years ago to escape domestic abuse in Mexico. An activist for immigration reform, Xochitl provides for her family pruning crops, landscaping, and harvesting thanks to a work permit. But she's trying to obtain legal permanent status.
Si tengo miedo yo.
She worries now not just about herself, but those workers without any legal status. I'm scared, she says, but we have to keep going. And yet deporting undocumented workers in California is complicated. The state enacted a measure in 2017 that prevents state resources from being used for federal immigration enforcement. And while that law varies by city and county, California is the sanctuary city capital of America, with dozens of cities and counties protecting undocumented residents from arrest based solely on their immigration status. San Jose, California's third largest city, is one of them. Mayor Matt Mahan defends the protections despite Donald Trump's vow to get rid of them.
We have the vast majority of our residents here, including our undocumented residents here, are law-abiding. In fact, the data shows that undocumented residents are less likely to commit crime. They're more likely to be working. They're paying taxes. They have a stake in our society.
But the mayor fully realizes that because of the Biden administration's record-breaking border crossings, the majority of Americans now support mass deportation, 56% in an October ABC Ipsos poll.
I think it's hard to get people to support the notion of a pathway to citizenship when you haven't committed to securing the border.
Our thanks to the mayor.